Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a legacy which people will proudly follow. This quote on leadership is so befitting Mr. PNC Menon, the founder of Sobha Developers, who bagged the NDTV Lifetime Achievement Award in real estate. The man who's built a $600 million plus business empire starting out with 50 rupees in his pocket and has now given away half his estimated $435 million of personal wealth to CSR. The global Forbes magazine titled him a hero of philanthropy. I'm face to face with a man whose success story is a legend. But he inspires awe not only for his business achievements, but because he's got his heart in the right place. Mr. PNC Menon, founder and chairman emeritus of Sobha Developers. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege, sir, to have you accept the NDTV Lifetime Award in real estate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm going to start with something very interesting I read about you.
Yes, please.
That you can't even tolerate a speck of dust on your shoes. How did you manage construction sites?
It's a difficult situation, but anyway, we can do it. It's not an impossible task. And I've been in the industry for the last 42 years. And I've learned one thing: unless you keep the site clean, you cannot get the quality. So you got to definitely make an effort. India, it's difficult, but we are practicing it and we are doing our best. I think we have reached, in a global standard, I would say that 80% we have achieved, global standard.
I've also been reading one common trait in all your interviews, that is that you've got this obsessive attraction to perfection. So let's go through your journey. Pickup van, doing those interior projects in Oman 40 years ago, to now when you build an empire of $600 million. When did you get addicted to perfection, or was it something that you had in you as a child?
I think it was there right at the beginning. But the requirements are very subjective, very subjective. According, see, when you sit in India, you do not understand the international standards. So within India, you feel that you've done it better than somebody else. But when I moved into Gulf first, when I saw it, I was just wondering whether I'll fit into that part of the world. It was a big shock for me initially. But there is a challenge, I did not have money. My experience in India was limited to the international requirements. Then still I took it as a challenge. The biggest problem was I didn't have any capital. That's how it started. So perfection was there right at the beginning. Whatever little I do, I always used to say that you have to fine tune it to make the best. As a street side contractor, I probably was the best.
You were the best?
Yeah.
My goodness, I'm wondering what that best was then.
Because, different levels, you go from a street side to a briefcase contractor, to a shop contractor, to next level, and we have come through an evolution of different levels of contracts.
Okay, just explain to me some of the defining moments. You talked about some part of excellence, but what we hear is 1995, Narayan Murthy's story, the first Infosys building and office was conceived, but I'm sure there must be many more in your life.
So the biggest break I got was in 1984. That means 8 years after I reached Oman, my first destination in the Gulf, and it was to work for the Palace of Oman. That was a big challenge because generally you must have the merit to get into the palace. It's not the money alone. You cannot give a low price and get into the palace.
Absolutely.
That was the biggest break in my life, and that is in 1984. Which is about 29 years now. Even today, I work for the Palace of Oman. I work for other 4 rulers also. I work for the Kings of Bahrain, the royal family of Qatar, and also the royal family of the Sultan of Brunei. So this is one of the biggest things in my life. It may not be in terms of money, it may not be big.
But it's very prestigious.
Capability wise, you got to be really capable, because the choice is so much for them. They can choose anybody around the world.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true. So let's come back to India per se. You know, is India a market that excites you a lot? Because a lot of MNCs and even real estate funds have decided to pull out of India. The red tapes, the approval process, all of that they find very, very cumbersome. Is it the Indian DNA that you have basically which allows you to work in this environment and not get disappointed?
I've been here for the last 19 years, you know. Initially there was a problem, you know, I came from a different environment. But as an Indian, you know, who grew up here, I could adjust myself. Of course, we do not make many compromises. We make sure that, you know,
so
we
how
follow.
Do you navigate the red tape here?
It is difficult.
It is difficult.
But it's possible.
Yeah. All right. So, in terms of the quality that you deliver in Gulf, like you said, the standards were very different, and you were compelled to bring the same standards to India. Do you think in India you've reached those standards, or do you think, you know, skill-wise, the technology-wise, India could scale up much more?
See, what I did was, when I came at the beginning, I saw the quality which was being delivered. To be very honest, you know, I felt we are about 30 years behind. I could not bridge the 30 years gap overnight. So first thing I did was to go into backward integration. We started our own joinery and cabinetry shop, world class. We went to making blocks and curbstones and pavers. Then we went into steel fabrication, our in-house plus architectural studio, to make sure that we do the detailing properly to start with. And we have the total control of the completely backward integrated, so we have total control in the quality. I was able to achieve international standard minus 10% the first job itself.
Oh.
Today I will say that today, as of today, this is post 19 years in the industry in India, I will say that we are close to, I will say 99%, close to 100%
really?
of the international standards,
amazing.
yes, especially in the residential area.
Okay, so let's now go back to the big project announcement in Dubai. 8 million square feet, Menon. It almost signaled, that mega project signal a revival of the Dubai real estate market. But I'm just wondering, next 10 years, you've committed yourself to such a mega project.
See, there are two projects. 8 million square feet is a very small project.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another project I've already, we have announced the project, we have started selling, that's 48 million. That is 1,100 acres.
Oh my God, I'm going to topple over.
It is in the heart of the city. Burj Khalifa has become the center of the city today. And we are exactly 2 kilometers as the crow flies. And it's 4 minutes drive from Burj Khalifa to my piece of property.
Wow.
We are doing it with the Maidan government organization in Dubai, 50-50. And we have started selling it last week. We're doing very well. And this is the biggest challenge which I've seen in my life. 65 years I've waited for that. I came to India with the dream of doing a large township of minimum 1,000 acres.
Right.
Even though I waited for 19 years, I was not able to achieve it in India.
That's
and
because land was not available?
Land is not available that easily. And consolidation of 1,000 acres in the right place is not that easy in India. So instead of achieving the dream in India, probably I achieved it outside the country. It's the most exciting project for me. We are doing about 1,500 villas plus a few apartments. And we have very low density, probably the lowest density anywhere in the world.
Wow.
And the price has been accepted. We have started selling. We are doing well. That's a dream project of mine.
And how many years have you committed yourself to?
We are planning to sell and finish the project in 7 years.
7 years?
It's about 15 million square feet of construction. So we'll have to necessarily build about 2 million square feet a year.
Tell me something. You've committed yourself to developing 50 million square feet, the largest project of your life at 65. Should you not be reversing your designation to CEO rather than Chairman Emeritus simply because you've got your hands full with actual work?
In India, I'm the Chairman Emeritus.
Right.
And in Dubai, I'm the Chairman.
Oh, you're the Chairman. All right. Okay. So you're still an Executive Chairman, and that's what...
I'm more than an Executive Chairman. I'm hands-on. Today, I have designated myself.
That's what it seems, that you're totally hands-on.
Hands-on. Sales manager now, currently, even though I'm the chairman of the company. I am the sales place from morning till evening, and I said until we sell 200 units, I will not move out of the place. So priorities of life, Today my priority is in Dubai, selling 200 units or 1500 units of villas.
Right.
And I'm sure I'll achieve it within the next 90 days.
Next 90 days back to the sales manager's shoes.
Absolutely.
And your hands completely into work still. All right, I have an important question, but I'll leave it to the end. But now I need to understand, what are your plans in India going forward? I understand land is a crunch here, maybe not township of that size, but what would your vision be?
See, we have been growing for the last 19 years, and we are already spread into all the cities of India, main cities of India, other than Mumbai. We expect that we'll start Mumbai also in the next 1 to 1.5 years time. I see a clear potential in India over a period of time. I cannot tell you the period of time, it's not correct to say. I see a potential for Sobha to do about 10 million square feet a year delivery. We are a delivery driven company. We complete deliveries within our control. We engineer it, we design it, we engineer it, we manufacture it.
I know, that's the most exciting part of your business cycle and process.
I believed all the time in my life, nothing is more important than delivery. We are able to deliver on time, the right quality. We've been a reasonable success wherever we have gone so far. Only Mumbai is left out.
You'll conquer that soon enough, I'm sure.
No, I should not say all that. There are big boys, and we are a small company with big dreams. And most important thing in my life is the quality. I will not allow quality to be compromised when we scale. That's where the challenge is.
Fair enough. So also make me understand, how do you take your business decisions between, let's say, how much will you expand in Gulf, any of the countries, maybe Dubai, which is right now your focus market, vis-a-vis India? Is there a risk mitigation strategy? Are there business cycles that you will follow between these two countries?
Generally, there are different business cycles, generally. Only exception was 2008, when the collapse happened all around the world. It has not happened in 70 years, according to the business analysts. But I feel that, generally I've seen this trend between a market of Oman and market within the Gulf itself. There are different cycles.
Okay.
So there is a risk mitigation, definitely. But Dubai, with the kind of infrastructure they have created, I'm very optimistic. Even when Dubai fell, in 2009, it was a collapse in Dubai also. But I was very optimistic because I saw a city, when you travel from London towards Singapore, there is no alternate city in that part of the world.
Right.
Even in India, we do not have a city like that, even though we are capable of doing it, but we have not done it.
Oh, it's absolutely stunning. It's picture perfect, almost,
Absolutely,
Dubai.
Absolutely.
What about the leverage? Does it worry you when you take on such humongous projects? How do you deal with debt and leverage? You think you're comfortable with the future, next 10 years, both in India and in the Gulf market, that will not become a problem for the company?
After 2009, it was a great experience for us. With all my experience in business, 2009 is just four years back. And one thing I learned is that your debt cannot be more than 50% of your equity. And that has become our basic principle in our business. Whether it is Dubai or any other country, so long as we are in the real estate business, we should not leverage more than 50% of the equity, which we strictly follow now.
If you were to, just look at the Indian scenario right now, which, you read the economy numbers, it's hit 4.8% GDP growth in the last quarter. We have an elections round the corner. Mr. Menon, is this a period that you foresee as an uncertain one for the next 12 months or so? And I'm talking about larger economy. Maybe real estate will weather it out because there's so much pent-up demand for that product. But overall, do you worry a bit?
Real estate business is also very cyclic, but I'm not worried.
Okay.
It could be very temporary, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months. It's a slowdown, definitely. But I don't take this slowdown seriously because, when we are really geared up for the slowdown, because our debt position is such that nothing will affect us.
What do you expect of your senior leadership team and the entire team of Sobha developers?
So we are a very professionally driven company, and we've been planning for a very modular management. Regions are very independent. People are even a project is very independent. And project also it's like a profit center.
Right.
Unless you decentralize, unless you put a system on top, a system and process, and make sure that it's driven properly, and we achieve it in the grassroots level, We are a modular driven company. I believe in modules, especially when it comes to delivery. Okay. We have achieved it very beautifully so far. And I don't think when we touch about 10 million square feet in India, which is according to the highest potential that we have in this country for Sobha is about 10 million square feet annual delivery. We should not have a problem at all. We have learned the science of scaling.
What do you expect of your son? He's stepping into very big shoes, or he stepped into very big shoes.
Yeah, no, I will not say
both
that.
as a father and as a professional.
I know. Two things. One, he did his engineering from Purdue. He did extremely well in his academic program. That was in 2004. Then he came and joined. He's got blinkers. He doesn't do anything other than business. So he looks at only business.
You really got lucky on that front.
I've been very, very lucky. And he's completely focused, not a social animal. He is always at work. And sometimes I have to drive him out of the office in the evenings. Gets 9 o'clock, 9:30, call up and ask, what are you doing? Come out of the office. He's doing very well. I think because he will do better than me. He's already started showing signs of doing that.
I can see that pride. And father's pride, that's so wonderful. You named the company after your wife, which is so romantic. Right. She's been your bedrock of strength.
She has been, we've been married for the last 35 years. We've completed 35 years. And when I thought of starting India, I thought, why not? Sometimes you are scared of your wife also. That could be a reason, So I decided anyway.
You meet my husband, you can ask him the same question.
Recently, I met somebody, incidentally, one big tycoon. They came with their family to my house in Dubai. Right. So he said, my husband has not named his company. So why don't you ask him to start straight away? It's never too late.
Right. Yeah, but that's just so heartwarming. Another thing which just totally, it's so inspiring for everyone in India with wealth. You've given away 50% or committed 50% of your personal wealth to CSR. And you said don't call it charity. That is something which completely awed me.
See, I came from a very middle class background, and I think I made reasonably good money. After a certain point of time, the money cannot make any difference in your lifestyle. I live reasonably well, very well, not even reasonably, very well. So to maintain that, I need only X amount of money. I have 3 children. So I have to save 4 units into X amount of money. And you take double of that. Even then you do not need all that money that you already created or you are creating.
Right.
Half of in a country like India, we are supposed to do it. It's not a favor. We have got to be responsible to the society, and it has to be managed very well. I would request you to kindly visit what we do in my home state. We started doing it very seriously, and we are spreading to Karnataka now. I am doing multiplying 2 times what I am doing, and my whole the kind of pleasure you get in achieving that is much more than the business achievement.
What is it about the country, about the society and humankind that you'd like to change? One thing, and there are issues in India, but there is also CSR that you've committed in some of the Gulf regions. What would you really like to make a change or a difference in?
I think education is the main vertical which we are concentrating. And if we give an opportunity to the poorest to poor, I've seen the difference already. They're already in 7th standard. We started from kindergarten, and this year they're going to 8th standard. And I've seen the difference. I cannot change the whole country. No, you can't. But at least a small portion of it. We should not wait for somebody to do it. We should not blame the government or the politicians or the system. Whatever little we can do, if it is within our control, we should not wait. We should do it immediately.
So education it is.
Education is the main thing, yes.
I'm just wondering, Lifetime Achievement Award at 65. 10 years later, you're going to go from here to here in business achievements. What are we going to give you?
See,
we don't have a bigger honor.
To be very honest with you, I'm highly honored with this award. It's a very important award in my life, a high recognition. But at this point of time, I'm healthy as of today. I'm no control on tomorrow, as you know.
You look very young.
Thank you. But there's an opportunity to make a lot of money, and half of the wealth goes to social responsibility. Right. And I feel that gives me a little bit of scalable change.
Right.
From a small this thing to a scalable change, which is possible. And I see it very achievable in the near future. So that is the biggest achievement which I'm going to have in my life.
PNC Menon, what a pleasure it's been talking to you, and thank you once again for accepting the privilege of Lifetime Achievement Award in Real Estate for the first NDTV Property Awards.
Thank you so
Pleasure,
much.
sir.
Thank you.
Mr. PNC Menon's business success is what legends are made of. And what he's done for the society sets a brilliant example in our country, which is still counted fairly low on the scale of philanthropy by the super rich. That interview will remain a very special one for me in my career as a journalist. All right, we'll resume our Q&A.